Hi friends, welcome back to Faith and Arrow Homestead. My name is Jaylee and this is the long-awaited video. I had so many of you request that I make a seasoning mixes video. A lot of you are here from my homemade easy baking mixes video, and I feel like seasonings go right along with that. You've got your taco seasoning, your chili seasoning, pumpkin pie spice, and all of those. They are commonly purchased from the store and they often have a lot of icky ingredients in them. And so making them at home is really easy, and it accomplishes in many ways three things: cost, convenience, and health. And so we're going to go over all of that today. And then for seasoning mixes, I have taco, chili, barbecue, Montreal, pumpkin pie, and cinnamon sugar. And we're going to go through and talk about all of it. I had many of you request that I go over with you where I purchase my various spices and herbs. And I've thought a lot about that before making this video. I get them all over the place. I don't have one spot that I get them all from. I get some of them from Azure. I get some of them from local farm stores and farmer markets. I have a store here locally called Niblack's, and I get a lot of them from there. They have large quantities of my most used spices and herbs, and they also have a booth at my favorite farmers market. So they're very accessible to me. There's 2 different locations I can go to get products from them. I did reach out to them via email and ask if they would share with me kind of their process for sourcing their products, because they are not labeled organic, and I do not know where they get a lot of these. I'm assuming they get them from all over, not just one place, I would guess. And they did not respond to me. So I have no information on that. However, here's my thought process on this, because I wish I could come to you with this like awesome, organic, ethical answer. And I just don't have that for you. The reality is, when you are cooking and baking, your spices, your herbs, your seasoning mixes are such a small part of the dish that I don't really worry too much about it. Now, when it comes to using like the seasoning packets, like a taco seasoning packet, I would still say that it's, in terms of the entirety of the dish, it's such a small percentage of it. However, it is best practice and helpful in other ways to make your own, such as cost and convenience. But if I have non-organic paprika or non-organic onion powder, I don't let it bother me all that much. These can be very expensive and they can be difficult to source. My mom has chili powder from Azure Standard, organic, great quality. She purchased the 1-pound bag. It took her 4 months for that puppy to finally get delivered. We added it to the cart 4 times before it finally shipped. And so it can be difficult to get your hands on these things. So I say, out of all of the things that we try to source well in the kitchen, this one I don't worry too much about. So I've got I do like the Simply Organic brand. McCormick also has an organic line. I don't like it as much because these are 2.65. This one is 3 ounces for the exact same price that McCormick sells 2 ounces. So you just get more with the Simply Organic line than McCormick's line. And then there's also Simply Nature. I think I got this from Aldi. So this is Aldi's Simply Nature Organic Oregano. So I got these at Wegmans. I got this at Aldi's. This is Stone Mill Ground Nutmeg Non-Organic. I think I got this at Aldi's too. McCormick, I got this at Walmart. Organic garlic granules, I got this at a local health food store. So all over the place. These over here, these bags I purchased from a local farm store, little family-owned store. This I got from the Amish. My Redmond real salt I got from Azure. So we're all over the board over here. And that's just the reality of it. When you have this diverse of a product, all of these different herbs and spices, it's just, I get them where I can get them and where I can afford them, you know? So anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. That was in response to you guys asking me where and how I source these various things, and that's the answer to that question. Next, I like to store my blends in just little mason jars. The little one is going to be for pumpkin pie spice. I don't make a whole lot of pumpkin pie spice, and often I only have to make it once a year because I only use it occasionally. I'll put a sprinkle of it in pancakes, obviously when I'm making pumpkin pie, perhaps in some muffins. It's not as frequently used. I'll use 1/2 pint jars for my barbecue seasoning, taco seasoning, chili seasoning. I go through it more often, but I still won't make more than it would take to fill up a 1/2 pint mason jar. And usually I make these once a year and they last me all year. So this video is well timed because I'm almost out of all of them. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here. We're gonna start with the taco seasoning. I would say the taco seasoning is probably the one that I use the most often because we eat tacos or some taco-like dish pretty frequently here in this house. Now, if you watched my hidden bean chili video, you know that I accidentally purchased chipotle powder instead of chili powder. I have since purchased chili powder. This is McCormick. This wasn't the brand I was looking for. It's been very difficult to get my hands on chili powder. It's like sold out everywhere. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. So I have just like a standard, I think I got that at Walmart. So what I'm gonna do, because I need the chili powder for a couple of these, I'm going to do 2 parts chili, 1 part chipotle, and that should be okay. It shouldn't be too spicy. And in all of these things, I like a little bit of spice anyway, so it won't hurt anything. So I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon of the chipotle powder. And don't worry, please, about writing any of these down. I know many of you try and you tell me that I talk too fast. I'm gonna have all of this down in the description of the video, so please don't worry about having to keep up with me giving you these measurements. And also, these do not have to be exact. If there's a little more or a little less, you're still gonna be fine. And then we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of the regular chili powder. We're gonna do 2 tablespoons of ground cumin. I love ground cumin. I got the big container of it. I use it in a lot of different recipes. I really, really love cumin. So we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of that. Next, smoked paprika. Now, you absolutely can use regular paprika. For the longest time, all I had was regular paprika. Now I have this smoked sweet paprika from Niblax, and I actually have never used it before. But if you look online, all of the recipes for the various seasonings are going to say to use smoked paprika. The reason being, it just has a greater depth of flavor than your standard paprika. That's it. If that's all you have, that's fine. If you can afford to splurge a little to make this an even better seasoning mix, then go for the smoked paprika. Ooh, that smells really good. We're gonna do 1 tablespoon of oregano. I only have these like coarsely chopped oregano leaves, and that's fine. We're gonna do 1 tablespoon of garlic, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, and then lastly, we have 1 tablespoon of pepper. Now, I just want to make a quick distinction here that I keep both fine and coarse black pepper in my pantry. This is called butcher's pepper, and then this is just a fine grind black pepper. I use both of these a lot in a lot of different applications. In a seasoning mix like this, I'm going to use the fine ground black pepper. And we're not here today to talk necessarily about my pantry and how I stock it, but while I have them both here, I just figured I would let you know that I have both of those and use both of those regularly in my attempt to keep a well-stocked pantry. And that, my friends, is all she wrote. Look at how pretty that is. I love how it looks before you mix it up. So pretty. And then I just keep some lids and rings here. These are used rings and lids. I keep them for expressly this purpose because you can't reuse the canning lids once they've been canned. So I use them for things like this. And then I'm just gonna kind of mix it up. Now I'm sure I'm gonna get some comments about how I should have sifted these together and how this is not properly mixed. Cooking, my friends, this is for cooking. So if I get a batch that is a little more on the onion and a little less on the garlic, it's fine. But yeah, so there we go. This is our taco seasoning. And then I've got these cute little stickers. I don't even know where I got these. I bought some, a box of jars from Goodwill, and these were in there, and they've been really helpful. So I'm going to write taco seasoning. And I've never done this in the past, but hey, we're growing and learning together. I'm going to write December 23, just so I can remember. There we go. We've got the first one. Next, let's move on to the chili seasoning. Now, you should know that for the chili seasoning, I don't always use it when I make chili. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I jump around my chili recipes kind of depending on what I'm looking for. I would say the hidden bean chili recipe that I put up is one of my favorites, especially for guests. Because so many people dislike beans in their chili. But I also make like white chicken chili, and I make different kinds of chilies. And so I don't always use this, but I do use it decently often. And I also use it when I make like a chili mac and cheese. And so it's just helpful to have on hand. Sometimes I season my popcorn with it. So there are a lot of different things you can use it for, but I just wanted to mention that I don't necessarily always use it for my chili. And I think it's important to make that distinction because I don't think that this matches what I gave you when I did the hidden bean chili recipe. So again, I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of the chipotle powder. And again, 2 tablespoons of the regular chili powder. 1 tablespoon of the smoked paprika. 1 tablespoon of the cumin. Now here I have a ground coriander. And I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of that, 1 teaspoon of garlic, 1 teaspoon of onion, 1 teaspoon of oregano, and then 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper. I bought this at Niblack's before realizing that I actually still have some of this that I need to go through. And then I do like to have just a little bit of pepper in my chili seasoning. I never really go too heavy on the pepper for chili, and so I'm just going to do 1/4 teaspoon, just a little bit of pepper. I often salt and pepper my vegetables when I'm cooking things like chili, so I'm not going to go too heavy. I could do a second. I probably could have doubled that, but for the sake of the video, I'm just going to leave it for now. Maybe I'll go back in and do that later. Now for the chili seasoning, if I were making a pot of chili, I would probably add 3 to 4 tablespoons of that into my meat while I'm cooking it on the stove. And there you have it. Next up, let's move on to the Montreal seasoning. The Montreal seasoning is a lot of fun. I really like having it. You can season steak, chili, pork. I like to put it in, honestly, if I have a dish that I feel is bland, I'll just add a sprinkle of Montreal seasoning to it. I've added it to chicken pot pie before. You can add it to macaroni and cheese. On anything that you take a bite and you're like, this needs something. This is a little bland. I really want some more flavor in this. Just add a dash of the Montreal seasoning to it. I think it's very versatile and really a lot of fun, and I really enjoy having the mix. So now we're breaking out the butcher pepper. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of this coarse pepper. If you don't have coarse pepper and you want to make this, then you can just use whatever pepper you have. But I'm using my, I love butcher pepper. I love the smell. Oh, so good. I'm also going to do 2 tablespoons of salt, and I'm just going to use my Redmond Real salt. You may have noticed I did not add salt to the other 2. You can if you want to. I don't because I like to control the salt in the moment. However, Montreal seasoning is really meant to be a steak seasoning, and you want salt in your steak seasoning. So I'm not afraid to add it to this one, but I just wanted to point out I didn't add it to the other 2. You can, but I don't. Your choice. We're going to do 1 tablespoon of that smoked paprika, 1 tablespoon of garlic, 1 tablespoon of dill. Now this is Niblack dill, but we got a big thing of it, me and my mom, and we split it. So mine's in a jar and hers, she has the original container. And oh, so good. I just love this kind of stuff. Doesn't it just bring you so much joy to like open these jars and smell and see, and oh, so good. This is such a fun winter task. Let me make a recommendation. If you are the type to keep seasoning mixes on hand, now is the time, because who wants to be farting around with this in the summertime? You're busy, you're in preservation mode, you're gardening, you've got all the summer sports if you're a parent and all that stuff going on. It's snowing right now. Oh guys, I'll show you at the end of the video what it looks like outside right now. It's beautiful. And this is such a fun, cozy task for the winter time. All of the smells and it's just giving me all the cooking inspiration. This is a wintertime task. Now we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of those red pepper flakes, 1 tablespoon of onion powder. Now we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of coriander, and we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of ground mustard. Oh my gosh, this one is so pretty. Look at all those different colors. I'm gonna take a picture of this one. All right, let's go ahead and throw the label on this one. You know, these are also really great gifts. If you're wanting to give homemade gifts this year, I know that the internet is saturated with gift giving ideas, homemade, but just throwing my hat in the ring. These would make really great Christmas gifts. Or you know what? They would also make really great gifts if somebody that you know just purchased a house, like a housewarming gift, or just moved out onto their own into an apartment. College kid, somebody like that. That would also be, this would be really great for that too. Just a thought. I'm always trying to make the ideas that I'm sharing with you guys applicable to everybody, to various situations and whatnot. Oh, this one is such a pretty one, I think, because it's got so many different textures in it. Again, with it being a steak seasoning, I really love that. With the coarse pepper and the red pepper flakes, and really good. Moving on to the next one, we're going to do the barbecue. And that one actually starts with brown sugar. Yum. We're going to do 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. And I'm just lightly packing it. I'm not packing it super tight. We're going to do 3 tablespoons of onion powder. That is one thing about making seasonings. You definitely go through your supply of herbs and spices. That's why I like to buy them. I try to buy them in bulk, like these guys here, but it can get expensive, and I definitely recognize that. If I'm being completely transparent with you guys, my mommy bought these for me. Back to that smoked paprika. This sweet smoked paprika is gonna be, it's really gonna shine in this barbecue seasoning because paprika is one of the main ingredients in any barbecue seasoning. As I smell this, it smells to me like barbecue chips. And so we're gonna do 3 tablespoons of this as well. Again, we've got 3 tablespoons of chili powder, and I don't think I have 3 tablespoons here. So we are gonna do, this isn't one that I would normally add much spice to, but I think I'm gonna have to just out of necessity. So I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of the chipotle powder and then 2 tablespoons of the regular chili powder. This one is hard for me. I'm back and forth on whether or not I want to add the salt to this. Normally I don't. I'm only bringing it up for you because I'm trying to think. Barbecue seasoning, you can use it to season chicken, pork, fish. You can put it in some soups. Another one that I put on popcorn sometimes. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I would not, if I had it in any soups, I wouldn't want to, I would want to be able to control the salt, but it's good if you're going to put it on meat. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and add the salt. I'm going to just do 1 tablespoon of it. I'm not going to get crazy with it. You know what? No, I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of it. I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of salt. But that I'm always going to leave the salt up to you guys, whether or not. So what it comes down to, this is how I want you to think critically about it. Do you want to control the salt on the front end or on the back end? Do you want to control the salt as you're making the dish, or do you want to just include the salt in the seasoning and not think about it again? That's up to you. I'm going to leave that up to you. Okay, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of garlic, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. That's fun. And then the last ingredient is 1 teaspoon of pepper. This is probably one I'll use the fine grind pepper on. Oh man, what an awesome seasoning. All right, now this one, I'm gonna have to work a little harder on combining because of that brown sugar. This probably would be a good one to mix together in a bowl first. And I may end up getting a fork and kind of getting in here and mixing it up a little better if I feel like it's not combining well. Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and recommend to you that if you are gonna make the barbecue seasoning, mix it together in a bowl first. That'll make it a lot easier to mix together. Now on to the pumpkin pie spice. I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of cinnamon, 1 tablespoon of ground ginger, 1 tablespoon of ground nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of ground cloves, which you guys have heard me say before. I just absolutely love cloves. And then you're supposed to have 1 teaspoon of allspice. I don't have allspice, and I really thought I did. I like scoured my freshly cleaned out spice cabinet to try and find it, and I must have thrown it out. However, when I was going through my spice cabinet, I found this pumpkin pie seasoning that I purchased from that same little farm store that I was mentioning, and it says cinnamon, allspice, nutmeg, coriander, cloves, and caraway. And I was so interested by that. And I don't have caraway, but I have coriander. So I was thinking just for funsies, and I know that I forgot I had it, so I've not used it in a long time, but I remember liking it. I'm going to add just a little, just 1/4 of a teaspoon of coriander. Yeah, it smells kind of, I'm not very familiar with coriander. It's not something that I really use outside of making seasoning mixes, but it does smell, oh, it smells so good. So outside of missing the allspice, this is our pumpkin pie spice, and I'll just have to pick some up and add it in here the next time I go to the store. No big deal. If you keep pumpkin pie spice in your house, what do you use it for other than pumpkin pie? Like I said, pancakes, waffles, muffins, what do you use it for? Is there a use that I am missing out on? Because it's so good, and I don't use it as frequently as I feel like I could. So give me some ideas down in the comments what I can use my pumpkin pie spice for. And the very last thing that I like to keep in my my little spice cabinet is cinnamon sugar. I use cinnamon sugar a lot. Snickerdoodles, molasses cookies, apple butter cookies, just a variety of things. And so I like to do 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. I'm almost out of cinnamon. And then I fill up the jar the rest of the way with just my organic, non-bleached white sugar from Azure Standard. Okay, and then we just shake it up, just like the others. And it just saves me a little bit of time since I already have everything out anyway, and I'm already doing this, then it just saves me a little bit of time in the future to have some cinnamon sugar already on hand. Now, let's talk for a second, because when everybody was requesting this video, I was looking online, and there are so many seasoning mixes out there. And I thought, you know, I really probably should do this like big grand video with all these seasoning mixes that are on Pinterest and whatnot. And then I thought, you know what? No, that's not on brand for me. You guys know how real I am with you. And these are the ones that I use. There are so many others out there. There are others out there that I should probably be using. But these are the ones that I'm familiar with. These are the ones that I enjoy having and that I find myself reaching for. And I haven't really needed anything else. I could probably stand to have an Italian seasoning. I think the reason I've put it off is because I really want to grow my own Italian seasoning. I want to be able to have all my own dehydrated or dried herbs in it. And so I just haven't brought myself to like purchase them from the store to put together a seasoning. Plus, when it comes to herbs, that's the first thing that I will sacrifice in a recipe if I don't have it. If something calls for parsley, I don't think I've ever kept parsley in my house. I've never grown it. And so I sacrifice it. I just don't put it in the recipe. So yeah, that's probably the only one that I would maybe like want to look into having, but I want to grow everything in it. Otherwise, I can't really think of anything that would be useful. I was thinking about doing maybe like a ranch mix, because I do want to start making my own ranch, but I haven't done it. What do you guys think? Are there any seasoning blends that you just cannot live without, that you find yourself reaching for frequently enough for it to be worth my time to put together? What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments, and maybe I'll look into doing that. All right, so we have cinnamon sugar, pumpkin pie spice, barbecue seasoning, chili seasoning, taco seasoning, and Montreal seasoning. And these are the seasoning mixes that I make and keep in my pantry most frequently. And again, just to reiterate what we talked about at the beginning, I do recommend this. I think that, first of all, it just helps you get involved in your kitchen. And that's one of the things I really like about doing projects like this. It makes me feel like I'm stewarding my kitchen well, like I'm a good manager of my kitchen. I know what I have to pull everything out to do this. It helps me take stock of what I have, of what I need, and then it's a really fun winter project. I really enjoy doing this kind of thing. It's snowing outside. It's all warm and cozy in my house. I get to smell all of the different spices and herbs, and it's just such a joy. And then also, it is a health benefit. Although these all may not have been sourced incredibly well, you're still leaps and bounds ahead of like those packets of taco seasoning at the grocery store. Those are honestly gross. They have a lot of really gross things in them. They're incredibly high in sodium, and they're just not necessary when you can do this and be very sure. Like my hands put each ingredient into this taco seasoning blend so that when I add it to my ground beef to feed my family, tacos, quesadillas, burritos, whatever, I can feel good about what's going in it. And then it's convenient because I was always losing those taco packets. I was never sure if I had them. I'd go to make tacos and I would realize I didn't have any packets left. And so this is front and center in my spice cabinet. I can see how much of it's left. It's convenient, easy to reach for. And then I think it can be cost effective. I realize that buying the taco seasoning packets is cheaper than purchasing all of the things to put together taco seasoning. But if you have a functioning from scratch kitchen and pantry, then you likely have all of these things anyway. And if you do, in that way, it becomes cost effective because you are relying on what you already own instead of having to purchase something from the grocery store. So it's cost effective in that way. So I highly recommend, like I said, let me know down in the comments if you have any that you recommend I add to my kitchen. I so appreciate this video recommendation. Let me know if there's ever anything that you want me to do, and rest assured that when you give me recommendations like that, I really take the time to think about them. I decide how best to implement them. What do I really want to convey to you? How do I want to present it? I care a lot about you guys, and I really do want to help your kitchens function better, and I really want to help you feed your family. So if you have not hit the subscribe button, please consider doing so. This is exactly the type of content that I enjoy producing on this channel, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Have faith, my friends, and keep moving forward. Bye. I didn't want to forget to show you. Look at how pretty. Love our little tree. Love our handsome booba. What are you doing, buddy? Are you a handsome boy? Are you the most handsome boy? You want to go outside? You want to show them outside? See what's going on out here? Come on. Let's see what's going on out here. Oh my, oh my. What do you think, Bee? You like the snow, don't ya? You like it, don't ya? So yeah, I thought it seemed like a nice day to put together some seasoning mixes. Does anybody else have one of those dogs? Even though he has access to the breezeway through the doggy door, he's outside looking like an Eskimo. What are you doing? Why? Why are you doing that, bud? You know you can come in here. Do you want to come inside? Come on, come inside. You a snow doggy? Do you like the snow? Oh, you're the best. Cheeto's like, you can keep it. What are you doing, bud? You've not been on the channel in a minute. How you doing? How you doing? Are you staying away from the snow? in case you guys were wondering, in his little home, we have a heating pad. So it's nice and cozy in here for him. You're wet. Can you shake? That's not shake. Come on.